Yeah, it's great to see such interest in this branding session about how to build a platform brand with Nina Reike and Simon Walter. Please feel free to add your comments or questions to the chat at any time. At the end, we'll have time for a very short Q&A. And if you'd like to come on stage with us, feel free to grab the mic afterwards. And without further ado, I'll hand over to Simon Walter, VP Brand and Communications and Brand Expert at Project A, who will introduce our guest, Nina. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Lana, for the nice introduction. So in the next round, about 15 minutes, we are going to speak about platform brands. But what exactly is a platform brand? It's quite easy. So we know that building a platform that brings together different market sites, so one market site with another market site, is currently a very promising, if not the most promising business model out there. Just think of companies such as Amazon, Google, or Airbnb. And all these companies building up and running this kind of a platform can be described as platform companies, and their brand can be referred to as platform brands. That's it. And also within our own portfolio at Project A, we have many ventures that are running a platform and whose brands can be described as platform brands. Just think of Sender, Katawiki, Homeday, just to name a few. And for these ventures, when it comes to brand management, there are a few questions that arise, a few questions that are very specific. So what are the specific challenges of brand management for platform brands? How can these challenges be tackled, and which tools and skill sets are needed in order to tackle these challenges? And I'm more than happy and more than pleased to discuss exactly these questions today on the virtual stage here with a good old friend of mine. And please welcome with me Nina Reike here on the stage, on the floor. Hello, Nina. It's really great having you here. Nina is managing partner, at Sassras Muttinger Plus, a renowned management consultancy here in Berlin for brand, culture, and innovation. And I think without exaggeration, I can say that Nina is one of the leading brand strategists and brand advisors, definitely in the DACH region, but most probably even beyond. So, and recently Nina conducted a study to this very subject, so on the management of platform brands. And she will now share with us the most important findings from this study. And I'm really looking forward to it. And Nina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Simon. And thank you for having me. I'd like to share some knowledge on platform brands with you guys. I really hope some of it is useful for you. Also, let me just mention, if you're interested in having the slides, just contact me. I included my LinkedIn profile in my short bio, so just get in touch. Lana, can you open the slides? Is Lana here? Can we see the presentation? Because I'm not seeing it.
Just a second.
Okay, let me just start anyhow. So I will give you a brief intro into the topic. And then as Simon already mentioned, I will talk about the challenges, about the specific tools, and also some skills and capabilities needed to manage a platform brand. So it would be great to see the slides. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, I think you can already skip to the next slide. So why is this interesting? Why did I get interested in platform brands? As Simon already mentioned, platforms really are the superior business model in many markets. And if you look at the stock market, you can see that this is even more so during times of crisis. So last year I was wondering, okay, so how do platform brands work? And how do you build and manage a platform brand? Is there anything different from other product brands or company brands? I then conducted a small study which consisted of 12 interviews with experts and also a small quant study. The next slide, please. Simon already gave you the definition, but here's ours. We're actually trying to get it on Wikipedia soon. So a platform brand is the brand of an offer that connects several market sites for the exchange of goods, services, and or social interactions on a digital platform that is in principle open and functions according to the logic of cross-network effects. Cross-network effects describe a market dynamic in which the attractiveness and benefits for one side of the market depend on the size of the other side. Next slide, please. And the one after that. Okay. So basically, we found out that there's a set of 3 basic challenges. Number 1 is platforms always target 2 or more market sites. They may have very similar needs or mindsets, but they may be very different. So it's very important to really get to know them, and can be very challenging. The second challenge is the brand experience is very difficult to control, and because the brand experience is made up of the behavior of the users on the platform, which is difficult to control. And just think of hate speech or bad Airbnb experiences or evil political campaigns. That's really difficult for platforms to manage. If you go to the next slide, when we did the quantitative study, we found out that platforms actually experience a significantly lower level of brand trust, and it's probably due to this lack of control. Okay, next slide, please. Number 3 challenge, and this is probably true for most startups, but I think it's even more so the case for platform brands. There's constant change, and because everything is pretty much unclear and also evolving. It may be the market itself, or even that there are in many cases no rules or regulations in these new emerging markets. Okay, so these are the challenges, but what are the tools that you can use to address these challenges? Can you go to the next slide? Yes, and the next slide after that. Thank you. The good news is that brand management doesn't have to be completely reinvented. We just realized that there are, it makes sense to focus on a couple of things and also to change some perspectives. Number 1 is the brand should be used as a flexible management tool. What does this mean? It's important to maintain a balance between a very precise core, but also allow room for flexibility to address different market needs and also to basically adapt to change. You can go to the next slide. This is my favorite quote from the study: "Identity needs to breathe." But for an identity to be able to breathe, you really have to understand what it actually is. Next slide, please. The second issue that is very important is, and this is a bit of a paradigm shift. Brand management in recent years has been about managing the brand experience. But for platforms, this is a little different because the benefit of the platform is at the core, which is because platforms solve real problems or should solve real problems. But there's a consequence that can be negative, which is low loyalty. So if the platform is solving a problem, if someone comes along who's even better than solving this problem, then you have a problem. So loyalty is a big issue, which is the next topic: loyalty mechanism. It makes sense for platforms to invest into building loyalty, to basically counteract this cold loyalty. And if you look at successful platforms, there are different ways to do so: constant innovation, or building a community, or even barriers. So once you've invested, for instance, into Amazon devices and have a Prime membership, you will probably stay loyal to that platform. If you could go to the next slide. Yes. This next tool is actually quite a surprising one, because most people think of, when they think of platform, they think of digital business models that are able to scale Of course, that's true, but you have to keep in mind that platforms are places where people meet to interact, to do business, so basically the humanness has to be part of the brand experience and is very, very important. And this can also help to counteract trust and quality problems. Number 5, if you can, oh no, this is again one of my favorite quotes. One expert in our study said, one half is practical benefit and the other half is community. So basically building a community is very important as well. The last tool, and basically this is a chapter of its own, and I don't have too much time to go into this, but I have a book recommendation for you. It's The Platform Revolution, very interesting book that basically describes these different strategies on how to build a platform. And basically the idea is that you have to find intelligent pull strategies instead of just pushing your message into the market. Because you have to get the cross-network effects going. And to do so, it's useful to use pull strategies. For instance, PayPal became successful by basically hijacking eBay with a bot that bought stuff and then demanded PayPal as a payment option. So pull strategies are key here. Okay, so could you go to the next slide, please? Some how-tos. Okay, so now we have very useful tools, but what else is relevant? We concluded from our study that there are a couple of basically skills or capabilities that are important, and this is, I think, both true on a personal level but also organizational level. The first one is managing a platform brand means flying by sight. So instead of long-term planning, building the brand and managing the brand is a permanent task, and it's also a team effort. The second one is Agile Orchestration. So it may be required to build a platform brand to not just sort of plan your own activities, but to basically orchestrate activities and campaigns that are outside your own organization, you're outside of your direct influence, for instance, working with together with partners. And last but not least, resilience is important because the dynamics of a platform brand and a platform model requires resilience, because you have to face this limits in control and potential problems that can arise from that. So both on a personal and organizational level, you need to be resilient. Can you go to the next slide? Okay, 4 minutes left. So basically, the message is, don't be afraid. Things will go wrong, but just don't be afraid of it. It's going to happen. And that's pretty much it. Try to summarize the whole study in a very short time. So if you're interested in this, just get in touch. You can go to the next slide. There's a short summary of the key takeaways. And I hope there's time left for some questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nina, for sharing with us the results of your study. It's very interesting. And maybe before Lana will pass through to us the questions from the audience, I'd like to ask one question myself. So whenever we were involved in building and managing a platform brand, the famous chicken-egg problem came up quite early. So on which side of the platform do you start, on the demand side or on the supply side? And did you come across this fundamental question in the framework of your study as well? And are there some rules or best practices you could maybe share with us?
Actually, the most interesting source regarding this is the book that I just mentioned, The Platform Revolution, because there's actually no real, right or wrong. There's different strategies, 6 different strategies. The presentation is not on anymore. it can make sense to address one side of the market first and then the other side, or both at the same time with a big bang. There are different strategies, and I think the challenge is to pick the right one for your business and for your idea. So read the book.
Okay, thanks. Do we have any questions from the audience, Lana?
So far, I don't see any. So if you still have some, here's your chance. Otherwise, maybe Simon, you have another question to Nina?
Of course, I have plenty of them, but in your presentation, you recommended to using rather pull strategies to build up the platform brand. Do you generally think that when it comes to platform brands, the upper funnel activities, so brand communication, pull strategies, and so on, or content marketing, are more important than performance marketing? So specifically for platform brands, maybe compared to other brands?
I think it's probably key to combine these two. So basically to combine push and pull strategies. So basically pushing and pulling at the same time, because you really have to get into the cross-network effect. And I think to do so, just performance marketing is probably not enough. It needs to be combined with pull strategies as well.
But would you agree that when we do a pull strategy, we can do one, let's say, strategy at once, and which will be then for both sides of the platform? As soon as we go in the lower funnel and we do the push and performance marketing, do you think that it's rather an either-or question?
Sorry to interrupt you, Nina, but since you have your interview in 1 minute, we have to cut this short. I'm so sorry for all the questions that came up. If you want to see Nina for 20 more minutes, go check her out on the main stage. I posted the link in the chat, and thank you so much for being there. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you.